Welcome back to my crushing difficulty walkthrough for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We're now in chapter number 3. 2 encounters in this chapter. The first one is super simple. In fact, actually during this sequence, I had forgot to pull off my auto targeting from Explorer difficulties. You're gonna see that here in a second. Just notice that there's 5 guys here. Nadine normally would take out the bottom 2 guys, and then you're left to help her with the top 3 guys. You'll see it here in a second. I think it's when this enemy starts holding her, I go to shoot him, and boom, I got the auto lock on. I'm like, I can't go through crushing like that, son. So I ended up, I think I even show that here, going to my menu and adjusting that. And I tried to restart my checkpoint and play that in full with all 5 enemies. But like I said, Nadine normally takes out the bottom 2, and even if she don't, you just blind fire them from right where you're sitting, take them out. And then basically the rule of thumb here is just wait till they toss a grenade, roll away. These columns don't go away. The column that I'm standing behind now does not go away. And then you just pick your shots, right? I tend to use the shoulder lean mechanic like this. I know that you do not have the, well, you may not know this, but you don't have the invincibility like you normally have in a third person shooter, guys. If you've played Uncharted 4, you already are aware of this. They adjusted something with the engine, I guess, or the way that they structure the game to where you can't hide your body behind an object and then use the shoulder lean mechanic to shoot enemies while your body is protected. That simply does not exist anymore in the Uncharted space. But you'll still see me shoot people that way because I prefer to come out of cover with my reticle already on their headshot, or their body, or whatever I'm wanting to shoot, right? I want my reticle to already be trained in on that. So you'll still see me use that a lot, but you can of course use the peek out of cover mechanic if you want to. But like I said, I don't want to waste that extra second or two to get my reticle where I want it to be at. So I still use it, but I'm very aware that I don't have the invincibility that you typically would have in a third-person game. Notice right here that we picked up, we're using 2 grenades. We picked up 2 grenades in the previous encounter. Make sure you do that. Bring those into this firefight. You're waiting on 4 enemies. This is like phase 1. So we get right behind the Jeep. We use it for our cover, and we just chill. We wait for those 4 enemies to push us. Those are the only 4 people on the map that'll push you here. Okay, everybody else stays back. So wait for those 4 enemies to come through. Like I said, grenade them if you need to, especially if they start bunching up in front of the Jeep. The last thing you want is for you to get rushed on both sides of the Jeep, left and right side, because you're not going to be able to shoot both sides at once. Most of the time, Nadine will take care of one side, but just in case she doesn't, I would go ahead and grenade them if they start bunching up at the front of the Jeep. And then make sure you, before you leave this portion of the fight, grab 4 grenades. Okay, like I said, you're gonna already have used 2 grenades, so go ahead and pick up 4 more grenades. There's also gonna be some FAL. I think it's coming up right there, the FAL. Pick that up, and then also pick up some ammo for it. Notice you've only got about 15 bullets in your clip. Make sure that there you go, pick up that clip as well, and then go ahead and top off on your pistol ammo too if you can find some of that. I don't know if there's any pistol ammo in this section. I should have looked during the clip, but I wasn't even paying attention. But just make sure you have as much pistol ammo as you can have. Make sure the FAL has full clip, and you've got those 4 grenades. And this is phase 2. We're gonna post up here by this elephant statue, and we're gonna create like a barrier using the Jeep between the rock and the elephant statue so that nobody can flank us on the left-hand side. Does that make sense? Now there's gonna be 2 enemies that typically push you at this point, and hopefully we can force them to our right-hand side. And I'm showing you here where you can toss a grenade down. This is all the areas that they may be. They sometimes will even go over there where I'm pointing at now. Sometimes they'll even be on that little island in front of us where I'm pointing at now. So you just kind of have to wait and see where they go. But wherever they go, you can do your shoulder lean mechanic here around where the elephant is to kill them, or you can bomb them. I would just grenade them if I was you. This be simpler, but you can take them out however you prefer. Like I said, there's usually 2. Sometimes there's a 3rd guy, but it's random, and it's not normal for that 3rd guy to be there. Does that make sense? So I would just bank on there being 2. So if you kill 2 people at this stage of the fight, then you're right on the money, right? With where I am in the clip. Now what I'm waiting on now is for the sniper to rotate so that I can get a shot on. And I've got the FAL. You're able to zoom in with that. You get the red dot. Make sure that you kill the sniper here before you push up. I'm not necessarily saying that you gotta get a one-shot kill like I get here, but just make sure that before you push up to the third phase of this fight that the sniper is dead. Very important because they can kill you super fast. Another thing too, you see the ledge I'm hanging on. A lot of times they like to toss grenades and it's gonna stick right at where my hands are. If a grenade gets tossed at you guys, all you gotta do is press O one time on your controller, ledge down to the platform beneath my feet, right? And that'll be enough space between you and the grenade so that if it goes off, it will not kill you. Here's the guys rushing us. Now Nadine will usually, sometimes she'll kill one of them, but I've never seen her kill both of them. So I would just go ahead and bomb one if he gets too, like if he gets as far back as that guy was, I would go ahead and bomb him. I wouldn't trust that the AI is going to take care of that enemy for you. And I think I got a double kill when I tossed that grenade, so that guy's dead. Now, the only thing you got to worry about at this point, because we're going to make a push up to kill a couple more enemies. Like I said, make sure the sniper's dead. Make sure those two enemies are dead. And I'm going to point here in a second, I believe, with my gun. I point through the elephant statue because I'm trying to make you aware that when you make, yeah, right there. On the other side of where I was pointing is that enemy that's on top of the gate. And just make sure that when you cut across here that you're rolling and going as fast as possible because you're going to be getting shot by two people. Just make sure you cut across pretty quick there. Don't waste any time. Don't worry about picking up ammo or anything yet. We're going to get that when all the enemies are gone. This is the enemy that I was talking about. If there's 3 enemies that attack you over by the elephant statue, this enemy that I'm shooting at now will more than likely be the 3rd enemy. But if you only get attacked by 2 people over the elephant statue, then he will always be over there somewhere, and you get your shot on with the FAL to take him out. And then again, we're using the shoulder lead mechanic here. Like I said, I know I can be shot, but I'm taking the hits. The beautiful thing about the crushing difficulty, guys, is that you can take shots. So don't be afraid to take some shots to line your reticle up with the enemy. Now, what you saw there when I went into the bushes and I just stood for a second is I was trying to see if anybody was shooting at me. If they're not shooting at you, then nobody's on the map, right? Because you can't mark enemies in the crushing difficulty, so you're not going to have a way of knowing sometimes if there's still enemies on the board because, like I said, you can't mark anybody. So a lot of times you'll see me just stand out in the middle of the open because I'm like, okay, if they're on the board and they know that I'm here, then they'll shoot at me. And the good thing about that is that you can always figure out where they're shooting at you from because this game has like tracer rounds. You can see it going through the air, the bullet, and you can kind of get the trajectory of where that enemy is coming from based on the bullet and where it's traveling from. And I do that a lot in crushing difficulty to kind of figure out where enemies are. Now what you saw there was me pull the Jeep up to the door behind me. Again, trying to make a barrier so that enemies can't come from behind. Now they can still shoot me, unfortunately, right now because the Jeep, you see that little gap I left? I didn't quite get it perfect. You will want to pull the Jeep up to where it completely blocks the door. That way you don't have to worry about anybody coming in from behind. I'm constantly having to rotate my camera here because I know that they could possibly squeak in behind me through that little hole that I left there. So if you pull it up correctly, you won't have that issue. I kind of got a little bit nervous when that dude jumped off and I ran over him because that typically doesn't happen. And I went ahead and pulled up to run over him, and when I did, I pulled up too far. So in your game, make sure you pull that Jeep up, like I said, so where it completely blocks the door, and then you won't have to be rotating your camera as much as I do. But even so, you can see that it definitely helps to have the Jeep back there. All the enemies are now in front of us. The ones that do flank behind us, I just bomb them, or Nadine picks them up, right? So no issues there. And I think even right here, I get in the Jeep because I'm a little bit upset at myself that I didn't get it perfect. There you go. Yeah, that's where you want it. And I even get out and like point the gun at it. Like, make sure that you have it tire to tire, baby. Boom. Tire to the wall. Tire to the wall. And then you won't have to worry about turning around so much and worrying about that. And I'm showing you there that there's a propane tank that you can always shoot if you run out of grenades, cause some explosion. Those propane tanks, guys, they're good. They take out even some of the heavier enemies in one explosion versus, your grenades. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 grenades to take out some of these enemies. The propane tanks usually are one shot, which is great. And especially if you combine those with a grenade, it definitely is a one shot on some of these bigger enemies. Now I'm just gonna go around and pick up some ammo. Now I like to roll to the next area with just the regular pistol, the Para 45, I believe is what they call it. And then more of the, I think I roll with more of the FAL. I think that's what I end up taking to, I'm pretty sure that's what I end up taking to the next area. You could potentially get that, I think it's called the NSAS, but I just prefer the FAL because I have more that I can do with it. I can zoom in for the red dot, or I can just keep it not zoomed, right, for a regular shot. I just prefer to have that, prefer to have that option, I should say. And I think I'm gonna show you guys, yeah, I got this clip coming up too. I've got a kind of a stealth way to approach this too. So we have 3 phases to this fight. The first phase is the Jeep at the back of the map, right? Get behind that, wait for the 4 guys, kill them. Then we go to the Elephant Monument. We're a little bit aggressive there. But then the third stage is where you, like we did here, right? We pull the Jeep to the entrance and block the door. Well, what you can do is you can actually switch up that third stage if you want to, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. In case you want to be a little bit more stealthy, or for whatever reason the Jeep method is not working for you, where you pull the Jeep and block the door, you can always do the stealth approach. And that's where all the 7 enemies that came through as a reinforcements, they're at the back of the map. And instead of going up there and shooting at them or being seen like we just did, we just take the stealth approach. And the OP aspect of this game, the most OP thing in this game really, is the bushes. Anytime you can sit in bushes, and this was something that we did in Uncharted 4 when I walked you guys through that hard difficulty. Anytime you can get in the bushes and you've got grenades, you're in the most OP position you can possibly be in this game. Here's the clip right now. I'm speeding up this footage just to show you that you would still do all this stuff the exact same way. But like I said, we're going to take the third stage of this fight and do the stealth approach. Like I said, I'm trying to build this guide so that it's, I guess I'm not trying to build the guide as a stealth guide, because there's no way for me to know if the enemies are going to do exactly what they do for me, you know, for you in your game. Because when you do a stealth game like this, when this is not really a true stealth game, right? It's not like a Metal Gear or a Splinter Cell. It's not designed the same way. It's just got some stealth elements to it. But it's very hard to predict patterns and stuff in this game. Initially, my thought was, man, I'm just going to do a complete stealth guide. It'll be probably the easiest way to do it. But I find that some of the engagements can be 30 or 40 minutes sometime, especially because you're having to write a guide for them, right? I'm having to figure out a way that it works for everybody. And it's too mind-numbingly boring, in my opinion. So I prefer the action approach. But like I said, I will try to throw in clips here and there for some stealth stuff if you guys would prefer to run an encounter that way. So now we're in phase 3. Like I said, the first 2 phases played out the same way. Again, I'm coming to the back of the map, kind of out in the open. Nobody's shooting at me, so I know I can push forward. And we're going to get up here and 2 things, right? The first thing is, if you get up here, sometimes the enemies will be pushed out kind of right in front of you here. If they are, then you're going to use these bushes to throw grenades at them and take them out, right? You can get a lot of double kills in that front area. If they're not there, that means they're all in the back of the map near this waterfall and that truck, right? And if that's the case, you're going to come around here to the right-hand side of the map up this, not stairs, but, you know, this ramp area. And you can see there's a guy right there. You can hang off this ledge. This is a great starting point to kind of get rid of them. A lot of times they'll bunch up. Remember, you've got grenades. You've only got so many, and you want to make sure you're getting double kills if possible. So, you know, if you really want to do this thing stealth and you want to do it right, patience is a virtue. Make sure that you're waiting as much as possible to try to line up double kills. That way you don't have to worry about being seen. Now, there's 2 schools of thought here. You can stay in the bushes like you see me do in this clip, just go around and get some grenade kills and stuff like that. Or you can hit up the lockbox in the back of the map in that truck. Just pick the lock, get the stealth pistol, and the stealth pistol will allow you to shoot enemies without being detected. The only thing I don't like about that is that if you miss your shot and it whizzes by one of these enemies' heads and they're alerted, then there goes your stealth, right? That's the only issue I have with the stealth pistol. And that's why I didn't put it in this, is because if you miss, you're going to be noticed 9 times out of 10. So I like to just play things the way that I play it now. Like I said, get into the bushes, get grenades. You can see I picked the grenade up off that body. Now, the only bad part about this is when you go into the next area of the game, if you decide to use this approach, just like you're seeing on screen right now, you won't have as many grenades as we have going into the next section. At least I don't think you will. I'm watching this clip for the first time. It's been about 2 days since I've seen it, but I'm fairly confident that I use all my grenades here. Yeah. Because remember, anytime you have the option to kill somebody by using a grenade or shooting them, you want to always, well, not always use your grenade, but in most cases you want to use your grenade because, like I said, it keeps you protected. And my job is to get you guys through this game alive. Right, so you'll see me use grenades sometimes when it's obvious that I could probably just shoot somebody. But like I said, my job is to keep you safe. So I know my skill level and where I am at with this game and the practice I've put in. I could shoot most of the enemies in this game and I wouldn't have to use as many explosives as you're seeing on screen just because I've done a lot of practice, right? But if you're worried about crushing or you feel like your skill level is not there with this game, then using those grenades is key. And there's the propane tank. But you see right now we got no grenades. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that I leave this in so you can see how many grenades are left, because we did kill people and they will drop grenades. So let's see if this method gives you guys. There's a grenade. Let me see how much time is left on this clip. Yeah, we'll see. Let's let this run on. I'm gonna see. That way you'll know. And then you'll have to determine, hey, how many grenades do I want going into the next area? And then that'll determine which method you want to use. There's a grenade. So you got 2. Well, yeah, so you'll have a good supply of grenades either way, guys, it looks like. So either way will work. And I'm pretty sure this dude has a grenade over here. Yep. So no matter what you do, you'll be stocked up on grenades. So pick your poison, whichever one you prefer. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. Remember, get that FAL loaded up, or FAO loaded up with ammo, your pistol, and get as many grenades as you can. And I'll see you guys in episode 4. You guys be good.